Welcome back, everybody, to the Marina Bay Circuit for part 2 of our drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Singapore Grand Prix. 4 of the 5 are here already. We're waiting for Pierre Gasly, who will be with us shortly. But closest to me so far, we have Carlos Sainz, then Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, and Liam Lawson. And Liam, can we start with you? Great to have you in the FIA press conference. Race 3, how do you feel it's going so far?
So far, it's been okay. Obviously, a big adjustment and a lot to learn very quickly. I think Monza was a bit more straightforward. It was a track that I think I knew more and with full preparation. But then I think this weekend it's a little bit more tricky. Obviously, a new track, but yeah, pretty excited.
What has been the biggest thing for you to get used to so far?
It's not really one thing. It's a lot of things. The car is probably the biggest thing alone, but it's stuff that comes with it, like tires, different compounds, running Inters and Zandvoort. I hadn't done that before. Working with a much bigger team, I think it's a lot of things, not just one thing.
So what about Singapore? You haven't raced here before, but you've wanted to come here before, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. It's been a race that, when I was a kid, I think because it was a night race, it was something that I always really liked. And my dad, he promised me like every year from when I was 7 years old that he'd take me to the Singapore Grand Prix, and we never could go. So yeah, this weekend he's actually coming. So both my parents, I'm taking them this time.
And tell us about your preparations for the race, both physically and how many laps have you done on the simulator?
A lot, yeah, a lot of laps in the sim, and then away from that, just lots of time in heat, uncomfortable situations, lots of clothing, high intensity work, basically to try and do as much as we can to prepare for it.
And are you just living race by race at the minute, or what have you been told about Daniel Ricciardo's return to the team?
It's race by race. Right now it's race by race, and basically we see in the future. I think I'll prepare for the next races like normal, but it's race by race.
And this must have whetted your appetite for 2024.
Yeah, I think now that I've had a taste, it's definitely something I've fallen in love with, and I don't think I can settle for anything less.
All right, Liam, best of luck this weekend. Enjoy it. Pierre, thank you for joining us. Let's come to you next. First of all, you were at Le Mans since we last saw you at Monza. For a guy who grew up just down the road, it must have been pretty special to do some laps there.
Yeah, I must say it was definitely very special to take a Formula One car around the small Le Mans track, even if it was only 2 laps. Managed to do a couple of donuts, and it was a fantastic event. We had over 60,000 people showing up there, and for a quite unique race and event. So no, it was definitely very cool. Yeah.
Now, it was a difficult race for the team at Monza. Tell us why Singapore is going to be better.
Yeah, we expect it to be slightly better. I mean, it's obviously very different conditions, very different track characteristic, more corners. We know why we struggled in Monza and some of the weaknesses, and I think it's probably on paper is a bit closer to a track like Zandvoort, where we showed slightly more competitiveness. But it's not going to be night and day. But definitely we prepared ourselves in the best way possible, and I hope we're in the mix for the points.
And what do you make of the track changes they've done since last year? Do you think that will help you?
Usually more corners, the better it is for us. So it wasn't so keen. But yeah, I think the track is. I've always loved Singapore for how twisty and technical it is in a way. So it's just 2 chicanes which have been taken away, and no one grandstand which is facing the wrong way there. So hopefully they didn't sell too many tickets there. But apart from that, it's still going to be very, very cool.
All right. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Pierre. Max, coming to you now. Now, after your victory in Monza, you told us this race is going to be harder for Red Bull. Tell us why.
I think we just are not as competitive as other tracks. I think the street circuits are a little bit tougher for our car. I still think that we can do a good job, but it will be very tight.
And can we get your thoughts on the track changes they've made since last year? Do you like them?
They're fine. I mean, less braking, less steering, a bit more relaxed.
And just from a technical point of view, is it less strain on the tyres? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it will probably be a little bit less, but I'm hoping that it also helps the racing. But it will depend if we can get a DRS zone in there or not.
Now, what about this record? You've got 10 in a row now. You have the record. Does that take the pressure off? Or is there almost increased pressure because you want to see how far you can take this run?
No, I never really looked at the number 8, 9, 10. I just always want to do the best I can. So naturally, every single weekend, it's basically the same amount of pressure you put on yourself to try and get the best result out of it. So nothing really changes actually from that side.
And remarkably, Max, Red Bull Racing can, mathematically at least, claim the Constructors' Championship this weekend. In your 8 years at the team, has it ever been operating at such a high level as it is in 2023?
I think we always had quite high level performance as a team, but we just didn't have that good of a car, I think, up until this year. Of course, last year already the car was very good, but the years before we were close, but, winning here and there, not fighting for the constructors. But yeah, I think everything really came together. We understood this new regulation really well. And when you have the good people, also in every single position, and you can achieve something like you're witnessing right now.
All right, well, best of luck this weekend. Thank you, Max. Fernando, coming to you. 2-time winner here in Singapore. What do you need from your car to win this race?
A lot of things, I guess. You need to see the checker flag first. It's a very demanding race. Everything runs a little bit hotter than normal. The walls are very close as all the street circuits. And you need to have that confidence in the car that you need to have as well in Monaco and Baku. So let's see if we can build that confidence from the free practice and get a good race.
Confidence, yes, but you also need that inherent performance that you didn't really have in Monza last time out. Do you think you'll be faster here?
I hope so. I think it's difficult to say. In Monza, we were not competitive, that's for sure. Here, we hope to be a little bit in better shape, but I think it's very tight. And some of the street circuits, we had a kind of feeling like Monaco that we were okay. In Baku, we were not okay. So I think we have to wait and see. And as I said, build from FP1 a momentum.
Now, the team has said coming into this race that its objective for the last 8 Grand Prix is to reclaim second in the Constructors' Championship. Do you believe you've got the car to do that?
Let's see. I think it's going to be long until Abu Dhabi. I think it's going to be up and down for everybody. We saw during the season, some moments on some races, it seems that we were the second fastest. Some of the races, we feel that we are the 5th or the 6th fastest. So this is, as I said, difficult to guess. But we are confident. Obviously, we are in a position that is a privilege to have. Fighting with top teams, and we're still enjoying every moment in every weekend. But let's see. I think we have to go race by race and be very open our chances, and if we can score many points, we will fight for second.
Fernando, last one from me. Can I ask you about Sebastian Vettel, who said last weekend at the Nürburgring that he's not going to rule out an F1 comeback? As someone who's taken a breather from Formula One and come back, are you surprised to hear Sebastian say that?
I don't know. I was not in the interview or in the conversation, so sometimes we read a headline and you don't know exactly what it comes from and what is the tone of the answers. So it's up to him, obviously, if he thinks about. As I said, I think when Daniel came back, it is a challenge. He cannot be underestimated, going back to F1. And it could be a challenge for sure.
All right, Fernando, thank you. Best of luck this weekend. Carlos, thank you for waiting. Now, you said in Monza that it was your best weekend as a Ferrari driver, even better than the win at Silverstone. It seems that you're just getting stronger by the race at the moment. Is that the reality of the situation?
I'm not sure. I've definitely felt good the last few races in the car, and we are starting to understand it a lot better and making sure that we put the car in the right place in FP1, and it gives you confidence, and it's kind of an easier build-up. But yeah, this year I feel like I understand the car a lot better, and I'm driving better than last year. It's just maybe the last 2 or 3 weekends I've managed to put everything together a bit more, and it shows in the results. No, but the driving and the comfort in the car is good, and now hopefully in the second half of the season, that was my target, was to be more consistent and just nail more results, nail more weekends. We can keep doing that like we did in Zandvoort and Monza.
And what about this weekend? Do you think it'll be harder for Ferrari than it was at Monza?
Yes, the realistic and theory says that we should not be as quick as in Monza. Normally, up until now, all the high downforce races, we've struggled a bit more than the low downforce ones, and this is a very long, not long combined corners. There are more sharp apexes where our car turns to suffer a bit less. But at the same time, it will be hot. It will be tough on tires, which we also know it can be tricky for us. No, so let's see. Like Fernando said, this year is going to be changing a lot race to race, and we need to stay open-minded.
You guys put a lot of effort in FP1 at Zandvoort into trying to understand the car in that type of racetrack, high downforce. This is another high downforce track. What did you learn at Zandvoort that you can apply here?
We did actually learn some very interesting stuff about how our car performs in that sort of track and what our high downforce wings doing. And yes, in some of the cases they don't work as well as we liked, and that's why we're changing a lot the package race to race, and hopefully for this weekend we found a better solution than in Zandvoort, and it can give us a bit more performance. But honestly, I think it's a much bigger thing than just the rear wing, and it's more a car characteristic thing.
Okay, well, look, best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Let's open this to the floor. Please remember to give your name and publication. First one.
David Croft, Sky Sports F1. So 4 drivers here that have raced in Singapore before, and Liam, welcome to Singapore. I'm not going to ask for advice, but what's the best and the worst thing, the other 4, about racing in such high humidity and heat here in Singapore?
Who'd like to start? Max, what advice do you have for Liam?
We were already talking a little bit. Just hydrate well. Not dehydrate, but hydrate well. What is the best thing about racing in the humidity? Well, you just lose weight. But, well, then the negative, of course, is that it's just quite uncomfortable driving. Like, you always feel just very warm, and you have to get used to just the sweating. And it can't really go anywhere. It's just in your suit, you know, so you have to just get comfortable with that. And yeah, it's a tough track. You need to keep focused throughout the whole race. It's easy to hit a wall here and there, so... but that's always tough on the street circuit. But then, of course, with increased heat, just trying to stay focused for almost 2 hours, or 2 hours is the hardest bit, I guess.
Pierre, please.
I guess he said it all. You know, like it's extremely humid and very challenging. So. Yeah, I hope you did a good training, good workout before coming here, because if you didn't, it's a bit late. But yeah, I'm sure. I know you're working with Spirit, so I'm sure this spot is well looked after.
Fernando. Same from Fernando. Carlos.
I think just wish for a couple of safety cars to break a bit the rhythm, to get a bit of open the visor a bit when you're feeling really warm, and. Enjoy the tea that we have in the car, because that's not a drink, it's more a tea that we have to drink during the race to rehydrate, because it doesn't taste good at all. It's not what you want to have when you're struggling in the heat.